Hello there everyone and welcome back to another Zeffo mock update video. In this video I get a lot of progress done in the village area of the mock, and I also work on another bunker entrance for the Imperial headquarters. So it's a very exciting episode, and without any further ado, let's get started. Another thing that I worked on in between episodes here was we're back here on the landing pad area in the back of the mock with the Imperial headquarters. What I did here was work on the entrance to the base from this angle. And essentially what I want to be able to see is when the mock is finished, you can be able to look through this way, see all the way through to the battlefield, and then if you're on the battlefield, be able to see all the way back through here to the landing pad. So essentially what I did was do a couple of slope designs to make it seem like kind of blast doors or a kind of a heavily armored door right there, and then I've got this kind of interesting structure up top. When I was looking at the game, there seemed to be kind of an interesting overhead, kind of overhanging structure, so I used some kind of angle plates and then tiled them out to give this kind of an interesting look to it like that. And then just a couple slopes here and there, nothing too crazy, but here's the entrance towards this side of the mock. And I also filled in some empty space right here, and this is kind of a test here. I've never really done greebling on a base before because I don't really build bases. I've never really built a base to this scale before or anything like that. So I started messing around with some greebling and started to do some panels. So these are just plates on the side, tiled off, and adding a bunch of detail pieces. Here you can see some of the detail pieces that I used, just a bunch of random accessories and different pieces like that. Just because I wanted to test out and see what exactly am I going to do for the sides of the base, because I have to build up the base to kind of this height before I do the roof and everything like that. And I don't really want it to just be plain bricks, so that's why I've got some slopes going here and a piece kind of hanging out down there. Of course, we've got masonry down there, but you won't really see too much of that. So I'm just kind of messing around, seeing what exactly I'm going to do with greebling and stuff like that. But here's this side of the base itself. And I did a lot of work here on this side of the mock, so I just showed you the entrance over there to the landing pad. Down over here, this kind of hidden bunker entrance that I did in one of the first episodes of the series. I was kind of looking through this and I was trying to figure out what exactly I was going to do to cover this area, and I was re-looking at some screenshots and kind of figuring out that a lot of this base, I had to remind myself, is built into the mountain itself, and that's something I haven't done too much of yet besides this little entrance. So what I decided to do was work on the rock work all around this entrance and have it connect from down here, because I had this rock work done, have it go all the way up and go up over to here. So I started off with this little piece up here of rock work, and that connects into the base itself, and then I've got it going all the way down here to the bottom, and I've got it going across. I've still got a couple of gaps left to finish up in there, which is going to be tricky just because this is angled and the slopes go straight down. Got to figure out how that's going to fit in there. And then I've got the rock work going down along this side as well. So now when you look at this part of the build, all this rock work ties together, and I think it makes it feel more connected, like the base is actually built inside of the mountain, because I'll have mountain kind of rock work covering up this part of the mock, and I think it'll just tie things together. So what I'm hoping to do, again, I'm really starting to run out of time here at the time of recording this. Brick Road is fast approaching, but when I do the roof and kind of put the roof up over the base, ideally, I don't know if I'll be able to do it, I'd love to have the rock work go in up top, like over the base slightly, and then come back down on the other side. So we'll see if I'm going to be able to do that. But so here is what I've got kind of done in between episodes here. A lot of small work on the entrance and different parts of this side of the mock and this rock work, which I still need to complete, but I got a lot of work done. And the thing about rock work is it's a little tedious and it takes a long time to do. So that was a little bit of a time risk there, but I think it paid off, and I'll have to put some more time into it to finish it. But this is what I've got so far. Now it's time to work on what I had planned for this episode, which is to create another one of those bunkers on the front side of the mock. Alright, so this is from one of the earliest episodes in this series. On the kind of side of the mock by the landing pad, I built one of these secret bunker entrances. And I want to have one of these entrances in the beginning of the base, near the front by the village area. So I went ahead and built pretty much an exact replica of the bunker entrance that I did previously in one of the first couple episodes. So I've got this one right here all built and ready to go. Now I'm going to attach it to the actual mock itself, and I'll start to build around the main entrance for the Imperial headquarters. Alright guys, I worked on the bunker here. I got it placed onto the mock itself, and I worked on a bunch of terrain that I'll show you in a couple of clips from now. But here's what I've got for the actual entrance itself, it's very similar to the other one that I've got. A couple of small things that are different and a couple small things that I've got to tweak here and there. As you can see, some parts are not even yet and it's not exactly at the angle I want. But also way back in there you can see I built a couple of slopes to make it seem like some blast doors go all the way through the back of the build. So this is what I've got so far for the bunker, and I also did a bunch of terrain work around the outside, and I'll probably talk a little bit more about that later on in the video. And over in this direction I worked a little bit more here to get things going. First off, I started to build some rock work. A lot of the things I was noticing on Zeffo is the Imperial headquarters are really built into the mountain, and that was something I've kind of did down here a lot, but I haven't really done it much up here. There's a little bit on that side that I think I showed you guys in the beginning of this episode, but ideally I'd really like to have, we'll see if I have enough rock work, but when I get the roof done across this, I'd really love to connect this rock work to that rock work so you have all of it into here. So I started to do a little bit of rock work over on this side right here, and I'm waiting for a couple more pieces here to really build some more parts up and to get it over where I need to start for the height of the roof. And then just the terrain work, nothing too crazy, and then I put a couple of rock structures out here in the battlefield, so that way we have some stuff that the different troops can take cover behind during the actual battle itself. And then the other thing I did on this side was start to work on a path. I wasn't sure what to put here because we've got the entrance to the base right here, and this will be the main kind of view that you'll be looking through when you actually look at the convention. You'll kind of look through the base right there. I wanted to have some sort of pathway around here, so what I decided to do was use a technique that I've used I think once or twice now, but I really do enjoy it. I think used it in my roast recently in like a World War II mock. Essentially it's kind of these round tiles as well as 1x1 round kind of flat studs. The tile studs are not such, just the 1x1 tiles, circular. And I kind of create this interesting pattern with them, and I had it kind of go from there all the way through here into the entrance of the base, and I might also have it come back out this way. So a lot of development here on the front side of the Imperial headquarters, but obviously still a ton more work left to do, but we'll see what else I'm able to get done in this episode. For now, I'm going to go ahead and start to work on a new building design, or like the new building in the village. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll give you guys an update. Alright, and I have started to work on the next building here in the village area. This one's not based off of any particular design. I just kind of started to do my own thing. I looked at a couple pictures and kind of went from there. So this is the first design that I have kind of for the first level of this building, and then I think I'll have some sort of roof or deck up there or something like that where rebel or stormtroopers can shoot down upon their enemies. So this design, very simple, just lots of masonry and plate work, kind of a very similar design that I did for this one, except for I'm featuring more masonry brick on this one compared to that one. And then one thing I did was I wasn't sure if I wanted to do this, but I decided to connect the two buildings to kind of make it seem like there was one structure, one large structure. I added in this tall portion right here, and that connects the two as if there's a hallway or something that connects them. And then there's also a little secret kind of alleyway right here where I thought it'd be cool if I added in like a crate from the game, like a cosmetic crate. I thought that'd be kind of cool Easter egg for everyone who's played the game. But here's what I've got so far for this building. And here we go, guys. I have finished up this building. I have kind of added in the roof from what you saw last time. I made kind of a border around the top of the roof with a bunch of different masonry and different 1x1s to create kind of a battle damaged area up top. Somewhat similar to what I did down there, but a little bit more defined and a little bit higher, so it looks a little more battle damaged and kind of weathered. Because on Zeffo, to me, I got the idea that a lot of the buildings had seen not only some battle damage, but also some like rough weather and storms and stuff that kind of slowly deteriorated the buildings over time. So yeah, this is the second building is now complete. Very exciting. I've now got these two buildings side by side each other, and I think it looks pretty cool. I just had to do obviously a lot of terrain work around the outside, but for the rest of this update I'm going to work on one more building and we'll see how far I'm able to get. But here's what I've got for the second building for the Zeffo village area. And here's what I've got for the start of the other building that I'm working on in this episode. When I was looking at the screenshots, I did have a screenshot of kind of a sand blue building that I wanted to work on. Obviously, I don't have enough sand blue to do a whole lot, so what you're looking at right here is pretty much all of my sand blue that I've got left after I worked on the Imperial hallways. And essentially I was looking at these sand blue pieces that I have, trying to figure out what exactly to do. So this is what I came up with. Created some kind of angled panels with some details. Obviously they're not the same because I need to order a different slope piece, or angled piece. I realized I didn't have that. So these will match once I'm able to order that piece in, and hopefully it gets here on time. But there's kind of the panel design that you can see, just doing a couple different detail pieces. And I have a lot of the 1x1 sand blue tiles, so I decided to try to use those as often as I could. There's the entrance, and I kind of decided to have a little bit of an overhang and kind of the medium nougat color, I believe. This is medium nougat or light nougat. Medium nougat, I think. Who knows? Anyway, I decided to have a little bit of an overhang right there in the nougat color. I saw a couple of that kind of general color throughout some of the buildings on Zeffo. I kind of decided to be a cool color to throw in there into the mix to kind of figure out a new way to make this building unique. This is probably the most unique building in terms of a color scheme compared to the other ones that I've done with light gray and olive green. So here's the entrance. My plan here is on this side. I don't think I'm going to do this same design. What I really want to do is have the rest of the building built into kind of some rock work, and then have the rock work go up here and kind of cover the building, so you can have a bunch of a walkway kind of like up here in the mountain itself and surrounded by a bunch of rock work. So that's kind of my plan, is to have this building kind of covered in rock work, because as I'm looking throughout this section, I really want to have some rock work, because that was one thing in Zeffo where I really loved how you kind of came up over the mountain and you got to see the village for the first time, and I realized I haven't really replicated that. So I'm going to try to add in some rock work around this building, kind of make it fit in as if this building is kind of underneath a little bit of a hill or mountain. But first, here's a look at the side of the building. I did pretty much a similar design to the front of the building, but I wanted to have a battle damaged hole, and I have a little wall design back there using some ingots and more sand blue and some light gray ingots, and I wanted you to be able to look in there and see maybe a soldier, or maybe a skeleton or stormtrooper skeleton or body or something in there. I just wanted this to not just be a plain wall. I wanted there to be something, some depth to it. So here's that side. Now I'm going to try to do some rock work and see what I can come up with. And here's what I got after a lot more work here on this building, and trying to connect it with a little bit of rock work up through here. So here's what I've got on the top of the kind of roof area here, a very similar design with kind of a lot of these masonry and 1x1 bricks spread out to kind of create a battle damage look. Very similar to what I did over there, kind of a weathering effect on the kind of roof itself, as if there was a larger structure here and stuff like that. And then I just added in some rock work going all the way down over through here, and then I've got a little bit of a kind of steep hill that goes up through here with some dark brown, reddish brown, and olive green. I'll show you guys that here in a moment, but here's kind of the wide shot of the building itself with some of the new details and how it's built into the rock work. And now on the back side of the building, here's a little bit of a steep hill that I kind of built up as if it was a little path that you can go up here through the rock work and onto the top of the building itself. Nothing too crazy, but I really wanted to add in some terrain work mixed in with the rock work. One of the big things on Zeffo that I liked was just all the mud and different grass and terrain into the mountains and all these kind of paths and everything like that. And unfortunately I wasn't able to do as many like hidden paths and stuff that I really wanted to through like mountains and through buildings and stuff, but I wanted to try to add something in on the back side of the MOC here, even though I don't really know how well it'll be seen at the convention, but at least there's a little path here for minifigures to perhaps take cover behind some of these rocks and move up to the building up here. And that'll be it for this episode. A good amount of progress, actually, which I'm pretty happy about. Again, as you'll be noticing in these last couple episodes, a lot of progress, because as of the time recording this, I have about 9 days till Brickworld, so I'm really trying to get this done, which is unfortunate. I didn't leave myself enough time to do all the details I want. Speaking of which, if you recall the original plans for this MOC, I wanted to have the landing pad over here that you see in the map where the mantis lands and you kind of walk into the village and stuff like that. I'm just not going to have time to do it, which really sucks. I'm very frustrated with myself, but again, I've been busy all year with school and I just haven't been able to work on this as much as it required, so I won't be able to do the landing pad on that side. So the MOC is going to end right here, so it'll be a little bit smaller, but hopefully it's not too big of a deal. I might have been a little ambitious with my time frame to try to add in another landing pad after I've got the one over on that side, which I do like. So what's left on the MOC? After finishing these other two buildings, you can see the big part right here is there's empty space right here, and we've got the Imperial base. For the Imperial base, I need to roof the whole thing off, and I've got some details I want to do on top of the roof itself. But for the village area right here, my plan is to add in 3 more buildings, 2 at the minimum. I want to add one right here in the center, and then another one right there in front of that building. And then in the game, there's like a famous pipe that you can walk across. I don't know why I said famous, but in the game, it's pretty recognizable and iconic. You can kind of sneak over through this pipe, and you can walk on top of it, jump over it, and get across the rooftops. So I need to add 2 more buildings right there, and then maybe a smaller one right there. Finish this whole thing out with terrain, and then of course the Imperial base. So can I do all of that in 9 days? I sure hope so, because I'm going to need to. Alright, that's it for this episode. Got a lot of progress done with the Imperial bunker over here at the beginning of the episode, some other details near the headquarters, and these 2 buildings here. So, good amount of progress, and let's go ahead and move on to the outro. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you did enjoy. I got a decent amount of progress done. Hopefully you guys enjoyed some of the designs I came up with, but I've still got a lot more work left to do, and Brickworld is a couple days away. So right now I'm currently recording like 3 videos at once and trying to get everything finished and all the segments recorded before I have to pack everything up and head to Brickworld. So there's a lot more progress to be made and a lot more progress that I'm ready to show you guys. So the next couple episodes here will be very, very exciting. Hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, leave your feedback in the comment section below. Hope you guys have a great day, and may the Force be with you always.